All right. What's up, folks? All right. So we are back and welcome. If this is your first time here, for a very, very long time, I have been waiting very patiently, plotting and planning on being able to attack one of the largest companies that I've ever went up against. This new case that we're discussing now, it's new to you, but very old to me, about like almost 8 to 9 months old to me. Things take time, and I think that's where a lot of people fuck up and go wrong when this journey of learning law or the idea of nationality and sovereignty. This is more than about paperwork. This is a emotional, mental, and spiritual game that you got to prepare yourself for. And if you don't properly prepare, you're going to be out in these streets frustrated, mad, and thinking that somebody is wrong or the world is wrong, and at the end of the day you will never get the results. So we're going to discuss and talk about, I got my first, very, very, very first position statement from Sunrun Solar. Now, if you're not familiar with Sunrun, Sunrun is a multi-state, large national solar company. They've been in business, I don't know, you can go back and check and Google all that kind of details, but we want to be able to get down to the nitty-gritty as to how I strategically got myself into a position in order to be able to get my first position statement back. Now, it truly has been a long time coming. That long time coming has taken many, many left, right turns. But I'm going to discuss, and today what we're going to do is going to read their position statement. Anything that you may not know or understand, leave comments as to where you may find this video, and we'll discuss the terminologies and the specifications as to how, after 7 months, it took me to be able to methodically get myself to get them to respond, because these companies are not here to protect you. Quite frankly, they can give a fuck less about you. And the thing is you got to know and you got to believe that, one, you are worthy, but two, you are deserving of all of remedy and equitable interest as to what you contribute into their system. And when I say system, it's not just about one company. This is about a global economy. This is about a systemic issue, in light of tariffs. Solar panels come over from China. In light of DEI, I'm in the middle of a discrimination case, right? So this Sunrun case is about the discrimination, the retaliation, the harassment that not only I experience, but there's people out there that's just like you that may be going through the same exact scenario that mirrors. And a lot of people ask me all the time, well, how do I even get up to that point? How do I even fill out the paperwork? How do I even know where to go? How do I even know how to, just present my case and start to initiate a case at that, at minimum, right? So today, this video is solely about being able to read their position statement and understanding that they are on defense. And when you are on offense, you have the rite of passage, meaning you are in control if you know how to maintain and take control. Now, these lies that you're going to hear in this presentation, it's not so much presentation, but these lies that you're going to hear in this position statement from Sunrun is based on a third party like an attorney, right? If you know anything about me, we don't fuck with attorneys around here, okay? We'll talk about why in a later video and go into what it means as to why I even decided to go up against this Fortune 100, 200. I don't even know where they position themselves. I know that BlackRock, which is one of the largest venture capital companies in the world, just bought 15% of their stock. So they got to be moving and grooving and making a wave in the industry. And as of right now, because I decided to go up against this company, I am battling back and forth, not with the company, but with their attorney. Their attorney's job is to simply be on defense while I be on offense, in order to be able to show and prove that I am a victim to their discrimination, to their retaliation, and to their harassment. Now, keep in mind that people run businesses and run companies. There was a particular individual that created all of this havoc. But now Sunrun and their executives and their newfound attorney, who clearly don't know much about the goddamn case, because you'll hear all of the lies and the diversion of what the truth truly is. And we're going to bring you back into a light of clarity and understanding as to how I got here and how you can use my story in order to be able to create your own narrative in the circumstances that you may be going through. So let's do it. Let's see. All right. Now, this is I think it's like maybe 18 pages response that this is the maybe 18 pages response that their attorney had to answer to. Now, there are a few agencies that were involved in me getting to this point, and we'll discuss those. If you aren't already following me over on IG, you can follow me at The Frequency Midwife and on my personal page, Minister Degrade. And you'll kind of learn about the different vocabularies and the different terminologies about this particular case over there. Right now, we're just going to go right through it and get to it. All right, so this response starts with an electronic mail to the investigator at the agency that is facilitating my claim. Okay? And as you can see, it says Employment Investigation Manager. All right, so Dear Dr. Chen, on behalf of respondent Sunrun, we are submitting this position statement in response to the allegations made against Sunrun by former employee Sharina Colvin, charging party. As set forth in more detail below, charging party did not suffer any discrimination or retaliation, whether based on race, sex, or any other protected category. Charging party was terminated for poor performance and repeated insubordination, including insults when her manager attempted to counsel her to improve. For all of the reasons set forth in detail below, the Commission should dismiss the charge, finding no basis for discrimination or retaliation claim. A. The parties. Sunrun is the nation's leading provider of clean energy as subscription service, offering residential solar and energy storage with no upfront cost. Charging Party was hired by Sunrun as a retail associate. A copy of the offer letter signed by the claimant on it is attached to exhibit. Let's take this off. Exhibit A hereunto. Upon her hire, Charging Party received a copy of Sunrun's employee handbook, which is attached hereon to Exhibit B. Charging parties, and we're going to the next paragraph, so B. Charging parties' employment and termination. As indicated above, Charging Party began working with Sunrun on January 31st, 2024, as a retail associate. In that position, Charging Party was expected to make sales through direct customer contact. Specifically, she was assigned to a particular kiosk or area of retail establishment, such as Costco's or Lowe's, with which Sunrun had an agreement. The retail establishments changed day to day, but Sunrun endeavored to place Charging Party at retailers close to her home. At the retailer, Charging Party was expected to meet and build rapport with prospective customers and set appointments for solar and storage solutions. Charging Party was required to input the appointments into SunRuns system, where they were assigned to a field sales consultant who would visit the homes of the prospect customers to explain Sunrun services and attempt to obtain a signed contract. Charging Party experienced a host of performance issues with every manager she had at Sunrun. When Charging Party first started working at Sunrun, she reported to ZJ Ibrahim. Mr. Ibrahim was in the process of issuing Charging Party disciplinary notices when he was promoted to a new role within the company. After Mr. Ibrahim, Charging Party was supervised by Benin Brown, who was also in the position a short time, about 6 months into her time at Sunrun. Sean Barter became her manager. Mr. Barter attempted to work with Charging Party to improve her performance. For instance, Charging Party received training and ongoing reminders on proper scheduling procedures, but she continually scheduled appointments for wrong times or dates that were blocked out on appointment calendars. She would then communicate with the assigned field sales consultant to have him or her change their appointment in a manner that created scheduling difficulties and needless work for others. Mr. Barter communicated with her by text, Exhibit C, to advise on the proper way of scheduling. But Charging Party responded defensively and offensively, insisting that she would not change her way of scheduling. Mr. Barter advised that he wanted Charging Party to understand his expectations, and if she did not want to schedule the correct way, he did not see her remaining happy. Mr. Barter created a written warnings on scheduling and professionalism, Exhibit D. This pattern continued. When Mr. Barter pointed out a performance-related issue and attempt to help Charging Party, she resorted to insubordination, insults, and threatening communications. On at least one occasion, Mr. Barter discovered that Charging Party was not at her assigned retail establishment without notice. When he asked Charging Party her whereabouts, she responded with hostility. Exhibit E. She later admitted taking her daughter to a medical appointment during this time, though she refused to adjust her hours to reflect this. In another communication exchanging, Charging Party responded to Mr. Barter insubordinately and then asked him if he had Alzheimer's dementia, Exhibit F. Daddy, I'm filming. Can you not talk, please? I'll be down there. I'll be down there when I'm done. I'm filming right now. Be quiet. On August 18th, 2024, during a call between Mr. Barter and his salespeople, including Charging Party again behaved insubordinately, and Mr. Barter told her he did not want her working after that rant and told her to go home. He told her she would be paid for her hours, and continued insubordination would lead to termination. Exhibit G. Charging Party put in a request for 2 days of PTO after this episode, which were granted, but a request for continued PTO was denied given staffing needs. Charging Party later claimed falsely that she was entitled to paid leave because Mr. Barter suspended her for a week. On August 29th, 2024, Charging Party sent Mr. Barter a characteristically insubordinate text, telling him that she was scheduled to work at the West Tampa Costco, and although she did not complain about prior assignments to that store, she refused to work there anymore and would instead take it upon herself to schedule her time at Brandon Wesley Chapel, Exhibit H. Mr. Barter reminded her that salespeople do not get to make their own schedules or assign themselves to stores. By this time, it was apparent to Mr. Barter and Sunrun that charging party could not be counseled into performing as expected for all salespersons. She insisted on scheduling customer visits according to her own methods and responding and responded with insults and hostility whenever her performance was addressed. Sunrun prepared to terminate charging party. Before termination, however, at the end of August 2024, charging party contacted human resources and complained that sales leads she generated were not receiving proper follow-up by field sales consultants. In her complaint she claimed that male and non-black employees had better follow-ups from field sales consultants, leading to better compensation, including commissions. Sunrun's human resource professionals began a prompt investigation of charging party's complaint. Given the insubordination and tension in the workplace, charging party was allowed to take paid leave while the investigation proceeded. Human resources investigated and interviewed charging party, Mr. Barter, and other employees throughout September and October 2024. Act to provide specific information on the nature of her apparent claims of race and sex discrimination. Charging party could provide no details. Apparently, the investigation revealed that there was no manipulation of sales leads and the charging party suffered no discrimination. With the investigation concluded, after determining that there was no biases whatsoever after determining that there was no basis whatsoever to any allegations of discrimination or even improper behavior, Sunrun proceeded with the termination decision it had made before charging party submitted any complaint. Sunrun's workplace policy. Sunrun is attaching as Exhibit B a copy of the employee guidebook. That handbook makes clear Sunrun's commitment to protecting the right of its employees, avoiding any unlawful discrimination, and providing employees an avenue to complain of and remedy any alleged discrimination. The guidebook, beginning on page 5, set out Sunrun's policy prohibiting harassment, discrimination, and retaliation, which includes the internal complaint procedures that section in relevant part. Now, this section, you'll see this on the screen, and you guys can take time to read it through. This is less about me directly and just more about what Sunrun's policy section says. So I'm going to keep going, and you guys can see that and read that on your time. You can pause and go through that. Let's see. So we're still going through. I'm not going to read all of that because this is still just Sunrun's employee handbook text. We want to get to the end of it. Okay, so this is the next section. Response to allegations of charge of discrimination. The company sets out the allegations in charging party's charge of discrimination below, and after the sole paragraph in the charge provides its response in bold. Charging party allegations. Saturday, August 17, 2024, I submitted my hours. Sean intentionally withheld their approval submission of my hours. Sunrun response. This incident refers to the time when charging party's manager caught her not working at her assigned store, and she subsequently admitted that she had taken her daughter to a medical appointment but refused to adjust her timesheets. Charging party engaged in time fraud. There is no discrimination or retaliation in requiring that she properly note her working hours. Sunrun, August 18th, 2024, altercation between Sharina and Sean Barter via Google video chat stating 1, you won't be here long. 2, I don't know why you think you're all of that. Who do you think you are? You haven't contributed much to this team during shift and store, resulting in Sean Barter verbally suspending Sharina for an entire week. Previous transitioning manager was equally made aware. Sunrun response. Sunrun denies that Mr. Barter used the words indicated, but it is true that charging party responded with insubordination to Mr. Barter in a chat on August 18, 2024, and he asked her to log out and go home to de-escalate the situation. It is not true that Mr. Barter told Charging Party she was suspended for the entire week. It was Charging Party who requested PTO for the part of that week. EEOC complaint filed August 21st, 2024, processed and accepted August 30th. Sunrun's response. Charging Party filed an EEOC complaint which was processed and dismissed by the commission. Sunrun does not know when the charge was filed. August 21st, 2024, Sharina received desperate treatment and was denied use of PTO. Sunrun's response. Sunrun denies that charging party received any desperate treatment, and she cannot identify any comparators treated differently. Charging party requested PTO on short notice that week, and some was granted, but staffing levels prevented Sunrun from granting all of the PTO requested. Thursday, August 22nd, 2024, 9:11 a.m., notified HR of harassment and discrimination by way of Sean Barter and Jared Lum via email. Returned back to work, intentionally practice scheduling manipulation, crafting shifts that conflicted with Sharina's established availability and or preferences as a punishment. Lastly, Sharina was left to fail on the day of her return. During a two-man roadshow, Sean Barter sends the additional employee to a different store, and Sharina was questioned and reprimanded by Costco's lead supervisor. Sunrun response. At the end of August 2024, Charging Party contacted Human Resources and complained that sales leads she generated were not receiving proper follow-up by field sales consultants. That complaint was fully investigated and no evidence of any discrimination or wrongdoing was discovered. Sunrun denies that it somehow set up Charging Party to fail and it is non-cynical to believe that Sunrun would intentionally jeopardize sales or its relationship with Costco or any other retailer. Friday, August 30th, 2024, I was banned from all team group chats and direct phone text communication to Sean Barter and humiliated in front of coworkers. September 3rd, 2024, I was placed on paid suspension with no explanation as to why and no prior disciplinary record or write-ups. Sunrun's response. As detailed above, Charging Party was allowed to take paid leave while Sunrun investigated her complaint. Sunrun denies that Charging Party was humiliated or treated poorly. September 12th, 2024, I was contacted by HR journalist Jibby Jacob to discuss and review my submitted statement of fact of discrimination to HR. I was told investigation would not take any longer than 1 to 2 weeks. Suspension lasted through September 3rd to November 8th, 2024, with 0% communication along the way. Sunrun's response. Sunrun thoroughly investigated Charging Party's claims and spoke to employees present for incidents and employees knowledgeable with the system and procedures for setting customers' appointments and assigning field sales consultants in the area where Charging Party worked. The investigation took until the end of October 2024. October 26, 2024, Sunrun's registered agent received certified mail a request to settle letter, which was neglected. November 8th, 2024, I was terminated by Jared Lum, who is the individual included in my claims of discrimination, retaliation, and hostile work environment. The CP filed a previous charge with the EEOC regarding race and sex. The CP was placed on paid suspension from September 3rd to November 8th for what she thought was an investigation into her discrimination claims. But in return, she feels she was retaliated against by being terminated for exercising my rights on August 30th, 2024. Sunrun responds with investigation concluded after determining that there was no basis whatsoever to any allegations of discrimination or even improper behavior. Sunrun proceeded with the termination decision it had made before charging parties submitted any complaints. E. Legal discussion. To establish a prima facie